Welcome to What to Do When, a podcast from real lawyers with real perspective, where we explore a variety of legal issues and scenarios. Each week, we focus on a new topic and discuss what to do when and if any of these legal scenarios ever happen to you or a loved one. With over 40 years of combined legal experience, our hosts offer their unique perspectives and insights on a range of real-life legal situations.
Hi, welcome back to another podcast here at Critzer Cardani in Richmond, Virginia. I'm Jackie.
I'm Scott. Hey, Jack, what's on the docket for today?
What to do when your divorce or breakup includes pets?
Well, what's the deal with pets?
Well, it's not like children. We love our pets like they're our family. We're dog people here. I think somebody might have a cat, but we're dog people here at the farm.
And a dog.
And we sometimes bring our dogs in, and they are part of the family. We love them. We take care of them. But in a divorce, they're not treated nicely.
Wait a minute. So I can't get custody of my dog?
I mean, you can get custody of your dog if you have a contractual agreement with your spouse, but a court doesn't have jurisdiction.
So how does a court look at it?
It's just property, like a car. Or,
you're saying my Gus is chattel?
Chattel is the appropriate word. Yes.
What the heck is chattel?
Chattel, just personal property.
Okay.
Personality.
Personality.
Yeah. It's just another thing. And I actually was part of a trial. Everybody knows Will here, who works here.
Will knows weed.
Will knows weed. That's the Will. We had a trial together, and it was part of a divorce. And the parties were just at complete odds about what to do with their dog. And it was acquired during the marriage. So what does that make it? It's marital, right? Even if the one person registers the dog and shows proof of purchase, if it was purchased during the marriage, the law says it's presumed marital property.
Oh, well, so wait a minute. Let's back that up because you really need to hear this. So if I have an AKA registered dog,
yep,
and I sign all the paperwork and I pay the $800 for the dog, and you didn't want the dog.
You got a deal. Yeah.
You didn't want the dog, and I paid the $800. It's still marital property?
It is, in fact.
Wow.
It is. And then you have to feed the dog and take the dog to the vet, and maybe dog sitters or dog walkers, whatever the case may be. All of these expenses are paid through marital funds or funds earned during the marriage. So what happens is, though, in a divorce, the dog or the cat, I guess the horse, whatever pet it is, sometimes horses are pets, I guess, is treated just like property. But in that particular case that I was telling you about, we put on evidence about who did take care of the animal and who really invested their time, effort, and energy into caring for the animal, how the animal responded. There were witnesses about, this dog, just barks and jumps and gets all excited when it sees this person. And I've seen the other person walk up and it whimpers and hides away. And I mean, you can imagine the testimony that would be elicited in a trial about pets. But the court only can say, you get the animal or you get the animal, just like the court could say, you get the Christmas tree, you get the Christmas tree. There's not a custody share. There's not a every other weekend visitation. There's nothing like that.
So the same goes with cats?
Cats, fish.
Salamanders, lizards?
Yes.
All right, here's a good question for you, Jackie.
Okay.
I'm a dog breeder.
You have a business now. Okay.
I have a business.
Yep.
And I just bred 25 chihuahuas. I know I didn't say that right. Chihuahua.
Hopefully from more than one.
Is that
puppy?
No.
Chihuahua?
Yeah, I guess so. I don't know. Sorry.
Chihuahuas.
Anyways, GSP would be the proper thing anyway. So we're breeding GSPs. Caleb has a business. He's married. And during the marriage, Caleb decides to start breeding GSPs. So he has 25 puppies he just had. And Sandra leaves and says, I'm done with you. I want a divorce. What happens?
Well, you have to analyze the business. Is there value to the business? There's obviously inventory. I hate to say that, but puppies become inventory. Dogs are then inventory of the business.
What if it's not a licensed business? What if it's just something we're doing in the backyard, back garage, and
generates income? I would have to argue, I guess it would depend on the spouse's position. If she says, no, I was just as much a part of that as he was, and what, she wants 12 of the puppies? I mean,
exactly.
What happens to puppy number 13?
Yeah, it gets really wonky is what we're trying to say and those things. But again, I think the biggest thing people don't understand is that an animal is really in the court's eyes just chattel.
Just property.
I mean, obviously you can make visitation arrangements and things like that. People do it and they make a contractual agreement that I get Gus on Monday, Wednesday, and Friday, and you get him on Tuesday and Thursday and Saturday, whatever. And that works, I guess. It'd be hard to litigate on the other side when you don't give me Gus for a visit on Tuesday because it's not the same as a child.
We do know a case. This was years ago. This would have been 15 years ago, probably close to it, where there was an agreement, some sort of property settlement agreement where, wife was to have possession of the dog and husband was to have some sort of visitation schedule. He kept the dog, never returned it. Believe it or not, that was show causable. In other words, the allegation was that he was in contempt of court for failing to abide by a court order. And the court then did order the turnover of the dog to the wife. But, I mean, how many thousands of dollars in attorney's fees were spent in that effort? But that, again, that's enforcing an agreement. The court wouldn't have the jurisdiction or the authority to say, let's set up a visitation schedule between the parties. Right?
And that's what I'm trying to get at. That's something you have to almost do independently through a contract. It is
for sure.
It is a contractual arrangement that you can make, and I know that's important for a lot of people. I mean, a lot of times, like we said, these pups or cats or whatever become very much part of the family. Like you get a bird, like a parrot, who's been in the family 35, 40 years. Gosh. There's a lot of history with that bird, and you walking off in the sunset with a bird may not be, the best thing for me. I mean, there's an emotional attachment. Clearly, we get attached to animals, but what we're trying to get to is to have you understand that when there's a divorce or even a separation, it's worse if you guys are just living together. This new generational thing of just living together, not getting married.
Oh.
Fraught with problems.
I mean, refer to our podcast about getting the unwed when the unwed break up. That's a good one too.
Yeah, but you put pets in that scenario, and then it's a real mess.
I mean, it's really, you're in the same spot. Well, and then it's not marital property, right? If it's just two people living together, it doesn't matter. Man, woman, man, it doesn't matter.
AKA probably rules then. Whoever bought the pet puppy.
Right. Who's it registered to?
Yep.
Like who owns the dog? Because it's not marital. You're not married. But in a marital situation, it's just property acquired during the marriage. So
yeah, and it's just important to know that so you don't have unrealistic expectations, because there's some people out there that might give you an impression that it's not that. The courts look at it that way. We're going to look at it that way, but we're going to help you make the best decision possible. And you need people who understand your passion and love for dogs, because there are some people who, for instance, if you have an attorney, and again, no fault, but they don't like animals, it's going to be hard for them to understand the passion that you have about your animal.
We should have brought our dogs today.
We should have brought, my dog's better than your dog.
Well, we should have brought a dog, maybe not all of them. But the point remains, if you can make decisions about your family and how your marriage terminates, it is always better than letting a court decide. So if you can come up with creative ways to solve the pet issue in a contract, we're all for that, and we're definitely capable and able to help you negotiate a contract like that. But if it's got to go to court, you have to be aware that it's likely going to be one person gets the property and one person doesn't.
Absolutely. Well, thank you for listening today. If you have any questions, you can email us at
info@cclawva.com.
Like and subscribe.
Thanks.
We hope you've enjoyed this episode of What to Do When. For more episodes, be sure to subscribe to our podcast, and we encourage you to check our archives to listen to previous topics. Tune in next week for a new episode and some fresh perspective from Critzer Cardani.